everyone, welcome back to The Chubby Artist. For our second episode, we're going to be doing a watercolor portrait of a pet. This is my friend Brent's pet, a little poodle. Really cute. So I'm going to start by basically looking at the printed out reference photo I have. I recommend that you print your photos references in color so you have the color scheme better, but this was really simple coloring so it didn't really matter. I started with the most noticeable feature, which for me was the ears, and then went on to some smaller details like eyes. One reason I really liked using the ears as a starting point is that I could use that as a reference. You can see I drew lines over my reference photo to see where other parts lined up. Sometimes when you finish your sketch, it really kind of looks a little creepy. Like you can see that the way that I did the eyes to emphasize where the highlights are looks very unnatural, but that's okay because where the real true details come in are with the inking. That's where you solidify where your lines are, so your sketch layer is kind of like a guideline. After you erase your sketch lines, it can look even creepier, especially without all that extra detail, but you shouldn't fret because when you start to add color, that's where you can really start adding dynamics. For example, I knew that the sweater was lined, so I made sure all of my brush strokes went up and down so that I could create that extra texture to the sweater. From there, I started to look at the other colors apparent in the face, like the brown around the eyes and some of the shading in the nose, and added that dynamic with lighter watercolors. One thing that I find very helpful when I'm working on a photo like this is to create kind of what they call a preview image, where I just basically sketch out the very basics of what the image is. Like you can see that little goofy square with the fake little dog in it, so that I can practice what my background looks like and what I really want to add to it. For example, on the left you can see I was thinking about maybe doing flowers or polka dots. So that made it easier for me to understand and conceptualize where I wanted to go next with my drawing. Because I decided to use polka dots for my background, I knew that I wasn't going to draw them out myself because it would make it too messy and not really give it that uniform look I was going for. Thankfully, I had a stencil nearby, which I recommend for patterns like this. No one expects traditional art to look perfect. When you have this kind of artwork on a computer, you could use a circle tool or something like this to make this nice little uniform background. But I just decided to use the stencil because I knew that I didn't want to draw the circles myself. And I also knew that once I did it in pen and painted it in, I could go back over it to fix some of the mistakes, which I actually ended up doing later. It really made for a cute little look to have those little outlines on it, and I didn't have to worry about the paint leaking in my stencil. Once you've finished all the major colors and things like that, you can go back and add additional details. For example, lines in the sweater or some extra shadows, especially to cover up maybe little mistakes where things bled where they shouldn't. I'm using a white gouache paint in order to create additional little highlights, something that I did with a pen in my last video. I think that this really makes it have a little bit more depth, it's a little cute, adds a little pop art look to it, and you can make it as realistic as you want or not. I decided to really emphasize some of the highlights and shadows here by just pretty much adding it anywhere where I felt there was a definite shift in color. It also made the fur look a little bit more realistic around some of the harder edges. I used it to kind of soften the divides that I had made with my ink pen. So that wraps it up for this week's episode. I decided to cut it a little bit shorter, so let me know what you think in the comments. What I really wanted to emphasize here is I got this amazing new paint that I ordered. It is made with mica so that it actually shines in the light, so it added a really cool extra depth to this painting. As always, if you like the content, then like this video and subscribe, and let me know what you think I should draw next in the comments. Thanks, and see you next time!